No wonder you're getting 5-second penalties. You deserve one with those sort of comments.
Can we get Scafey now? He'd have like $100 bottles of red tucked down in his jacket.
Wolf of Wall Street. He just ain't effing leaving. He's just there.
You're listening to Drivers Only Back. You've got Will Davison and myself up here in the Brisbane studios, and you've got GT and Frosty down in Melbourne. The Drivers Only, we're all back, so it's great. For you, GT and Frosty, it wasn't a bad weekend at the Bend. Just a bit of a thoughts about what you thought over the weekend.
Oh, hello, Brisbane.
Hello,
yes,
Garth.
it
Hello,
was
Frosty.
good.
Hello,
hey,
Craig.
you mentioned, Lowndesy, that we're all back as drivers. Will's still here. He's still full-time. He's not. We haven't retired him off yet.
That's right.
So Will's the only full-time guy here, but we've all raced for 100 years. The Bend...
A couple of fine wines here, I might add.
Hey, yeah, well, between the four of us, there's a few fine wines. Bend was all right. I actually spent the whole bloody race following Frosty around.
It was really, really good. How are you, boys, up there?
Yeah,
Sunshine
good.
out, sun's out, guns out.
Well done. How's your trophies, boys?
Oh, I haven't had one for a while, so I gave it to Elliot, my 6-year-old.
I was there in the crowd
He
cheering
thought it
you
was
guys
pretty
on
cool.
under the podium. Little tear in my eye. That was good.
Really?
Good look. Well, I was there supporting.
I doubt that, seriously.
He was
JR.
upset. He was just upset.
No, it was
Seriously doubt that, Will.
good to see a couple of the OGs
What
up there.
about what about you, Lowndesy? Back wildcard car with Zach Bates?
Yeah, we had a few little issues in the first. We had a gear shifter selector in the first practice session, so I got about 2 laps. I think in
Slides
total.
back into race car driver mode.
Yeah, I
back into
know.
race car
That was
driver
your
mode pretty
right
quickly.
hand
Got the
then,
excuse
yeah, no,
book
right
out.
hand was
Page
fine.
one.
Trans-Am
Page
car.
one, chapter 1.
See, gear shifter issues.
No, it was all right. I think
That's an issue.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, wrong side. That's what the problem was.
Changing gears with the door handle.
Yeah. Well, that's actually worked well. But no, obviously we struggled a little bit. Zachy was a bit down on himself after qualifying, but the car and race pace was actually quite good. How was your guys? How were the Falcons in the sense of all the tune-ups?
The Falcons?
Yeah.
The Mustangs?
Yeah.
Craig Lowndes,
I
welcome to
love it.
I
1996.
love it. I feel like we're back in
He was shifting with a
2012
H pattern
here.
too.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? The H pattern. That's great. Well, obviously Brodie did a sensational job, which was amazing to see. Great to see the team's first Enduro win since 2019. And in terms of the changes, it's a tricky one. It's obviously probably going to be a pretty popular discussion point. But in all reality, Brodie's undefeated at that circuit at the moment since Gen 3 cars have been going to the Bend. So from my point of view, the weekend was very, very challenging. We certainly just had very challenging side time on the 17 side of things and qualifying. Obviously, we were sitting there at the end of the lane, and your mates at T8 gave us a bit of a hand there after a while to get the wheel back on, which came off. So we started, down the back a bit, and Tony actually did a cracking job in his stint, but fortunately, a couple of little penalties, drive through, and I think he turfed old Leroy round, and it put us on the back foot. So we were sort of in no man's land with no safety cars, which is pretty unheard of in a 500k. But that made my afternoon very lonely.
How was your start, GT?
You've had a few penalties this year, Wilbur. I reckon I raced with you as a teammate for many years, and you were one of the cleanest. Like your sheet of
His rap sheet.
His rap sheet was very clean. And this year, every time I watch, 5-second penalty, car 17.
He's just cramming them all in at the end. Will was just cramming them all in at the end.
Cashing in.
He's blaming
He's
his
got a couple of
teammate
years
already.
left, so let's get
Cashing them in.
I know. And listen, all of them were a bit grey. You start. I'm trying to. Even Berto's like, I haven't seen you up here in years, Will. Like, I use you as my, my textbook clean driver. And what's going on? Mate?
The good guy.
The good guy. I mean, nice guys finish last. So listen, we'd be lying.
Stop being a nice guy, Will.
Well, haven't you seen my form guide with the penalties lately? I'm trying. I'm listening to everyone. But it's not really doing me that well on the point score. But no, listen, it's aggressive out there in the mid-pack. Everyone is on top of each other. The cars, in many ways are quite similar, and the desperation levels are bloody high. So, I like to be a bit more calculated with my racing, bide my time, look after the tyre. It gets you nowhere when you're in the pack. It's kill or be killed. And so I tried to up the aggression a bit lately, and kind of hasn't worked out that well, but we'll keep going.
It'll
on that
kick
way.
in soon, Will.
That's right.
In.
Bit of diagonalling
Lowndesy,
under brakes. There's a bit of weird defending going on.
The moving under brakes is wild. Yeah,
It is wild.
You mentioned the Ford thing, Lowndesy, and there was 3 of them on the podium, but I don't think that was directly related to the changes, because I remember after the first pit stop, I came out And I was like, where'd everyone go? Like, everyone that I was racing disappeared. And strategy-wise, they just missed it completely. I mean, I was following Harry Jones for the first stint. Came out after the pits, couldn't see him again. And then at the end of the race, they were 25 seconds behind us at the end of the race. So strategy-wise, most of them just missed it. It just happened to be 3 cars at the front got the strategy right. They were fast and didn't fall off the racetrack.
We'll just jump on that bandwagon.
Did fall off the track.
GT, what do you reckon?
that?
Like, they've just got to stop making mistakes, these good GM teams. That's what we've caught for years.
Do we get into that? Like, firstly, don't start by crashing into each other in practice.
At the end of that last stint, they were quick. I tell you, Brock and Brownie were seriously fast.
Brown was
last
fast.
Stint. Yeah.
Yeah, Brock was quick too.
Yeah.
His timing report looks very handy.
I reckon it was a fair
Very
bit of angry
speedy.
Brock probably in that. And, like, they shortened that last stint up. But, like, he didn't have a very
I'm
long
pumping
last
him
stint.
up. I'm pumping, you know,
Yeah.
pumping
Oh,
him
they
up.
were fast, but there was just a lot go on. Like, about lap 35, like, their race was sort of done. And you're like, well, where'd they go? So, yeah, I mean, form guide, it's very easy to look at the results sheet and say, oh, Ford's got a massive advantage. But I think the teams just executed that race better. So
100% agree there.
Well, it's interesting, actually. You don't really normally see Red Bull have or create mistakes or have any issues in pit stops. And that fuel dump was actually a massive blow for them at that point. And, of course, as I said, it's just a rarity for Red Bull to have that go on.
He actually had it out and he's shaking his head. I'm not sure that it's
There's
actually
drama
deliberate.
there.
Back the fuel
they
towers
had
back
that.
in the lane.
Yeah.
that, I think the crash on Saturday morning put the number 1 car massively on the back foot.
Sorry, Neil, there was almost a monstrous shunt.
He was fast.
Yeah,
Remember
well,
Friday? He was very
it
fast.
for 3.5 tenths faster than everyone else. Then the wind changed Saturday night, and the cars were all different. We all drove, and the cars were completely different on Saturday than we were on Friday. And the one car, because it got crashed out at the start of the co-driver session, and they didn't get it fixed properly for the practice 5, going into quali, they had no real read on the track or the wind conditions, so they were massively on the back foot. So, from Saturday morning, the one car was took them till Sunday afternoon to get themselves back in the game. And then the dramas with the 88 car with the fuel and slipping off the side of the track and all the rest of it.
While we're on Triple Eight, this is your last hurrah, Lowndesy.
Yeah, it
With
is.
Triple
Oh,
Eight.
yeah,
This
it
is his
is.
last hurrah.
Are you
So-
going to walk up pit lane again and we all have to hug you and carry on because you're changing teams?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Any
I'm not-
special
I'm
helmet
not dying.
or
I'm
any,
not going anywhere.
No, well, last time we all had to hug you.
Yeah, I know. And you had to grit your
And
teeth
fraction, we
too,
did
but
that with
that's all
Frosty at
right.
Adelaide last year too.
Wolf of Wall Street. He
So-
just ain't effing leaving. He's just there. I love it.
That's a meme. That's coming
That's a
out.
meme.
That'll roll out.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was interesting because I don't know about your strategies, but obviously, the minimum laps you had to do as a co-driver is 38. So we were sort of like going, well, you can't do that because then you got a fuel save to the end. So we were already sort of earmarking because we didn't know what Zach was going to do. We didn't know his fitness, whether he could do a double stint. So we ran as long as we could on our two stints. But for you guys, I think both of you guys actually sort of opted out a little bit earlier and got your main guys in. Well, you got in, Will.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was non-existent, but very similar strategy to the 38 that won the race, and just kept it pretty simple and obviously nearly maximised the time as the main driver could do. So, but an unusual one. We didn't see too many main drivers start, but Cooper Murray obviously made it quite effective, and we obviously always look at a safety car coming at a time which could leave your co-driver under the pump from the main drivers on a restart. But that just didn't happen. I mean, 500k, no safety car. I mean, probably a little bit predictable, do you think, guys? I mean, some are saying the race was a little bit flat. It probably doesn't have the character of the Sandown 500, does it? But always a tricky one. Such an amazing facility, a great circuit, but probably didn't lend itself that well to a 500.
Well, the play...
Even the sprint races there in 23 were a little bit the same as well. I mean, you mentioned it, Will. The facility's mega, the pit lane's mega, the whole precinct's mega. The track itself, just with supercars, or even, I mean, I've raced Carrera Cup and GT there. I don't know if you've raced anything else there, Lowndesy, whether you raced any other stuff there.
Oh, just the Porsche Cup car, yeah.
Yeah, Carrera Cup car. And even those, it's so hard to pass just because of the medium to high-speed nature of the track. So it's hard to follow, hard to pass. So we all sort of knew going into this one, there's a chance it could spread out, to get a big field spread. And I think the Bend, I mean, very small sample size, only been racing there since 2018, but the safety car likelihood is very, very low as a percentage. Like it's, I mean, you've got to go a long way at tail and bend to get into trouble.
And you can still get back.
Remember the COVID time they had that shortened track?
On the short track.
That was actually a really good racetrack.
Yeah, you did that
because
race, yeah.
when you did that triple right, I knew when you were behind me, if I flicked rocks at you, you'd back off. And the second thing was the aero push. And you saw Brodie play that strategy well. But what people don't see at home is that in these endurance races, there's actually that big strategy part. So Cam, he couldn't follow Brodie close, so he backed off.
Yeah.
And the first thing Brodie does is back straight off and backs to him. So there's a lot of gamemanship going on in endurance racing. I think the strategy, if you could open strategies more, that would make this endurance race a little bit more open, because you need tyre deg advantage, you need fuel advantage, you need different strategies, and that's where just the surface at Sandown lends itself to,
Well, the deg there's massive.
to that. But we knew, literally, when the rule got announced, I did, that co-drivers, I went straight to my car and jumped in a manual and started, because I knew I was starting. And you know you're going to do 38 to 45 laps.
Yeah.
So you can lock in your strategy. So if you could open that up somehow, which, we saw Chaz try and do a 4-stop, it doesn't work, or 3-stop or whatever. You need high deg, you need different strategies, and you need different things going on. Otherwise, the fastest car's at the front for a reason, the slowest car's at the back because he qualified there, and everyone feels it. So track's tough because it's got really good surface. Give it 5 years, it'll deg, and it might get a little bit nicer to race on.
Yeah. And it's we've seen it at the bend too, like with the nature of the curbs, Melbourne weather in September, it's unpredictable. There's more mistakes are made. Like there was mistakes made at the bend, like a few cars slipped off at turns 8, 9, 10, but there's 4 paddocks out there before you hit anything. So you just sort of trundle back onto the racetrack. It doesn't drag a safety car out. We've all seen you go off at the end of the back straight at Sandown. It's a safety car.
That's right.
I think a safety car would have brought a safety car, though, wouldn't it?
If turn 5 was easy flat, because turn 6 is always creates action. It's a fantastic passing opportunity. You often get great runs if your car's good. You can follow close through turn 1, 2, 3. But then it's that turn 5 when you're right up behind someone, you get the aero wash, run off into the grass. I think if that was easy flat, I think 6 would be chaos all race long, because the nature of that circuit is high grip, and you can actually follow very close in probably half of the circuit, but it's just those key spots that I think.
What else
turn
would you
5.
change? I agree with that. What else would you change? What else would you change at the bend layout wise to maybe just create a bit more passing?
Yeah, it's you need.
I'd
I
leave
think
8,
slow
9, 10.
corners
I'd
into
leave
slow
8, 9,
corners
10.
at times. Yeah, 8, 9, 10.
I'd make 14 slower and tighter.
14, the left, the first.
14
of
and
the
15,
lefts.
the two lefts.
Yep.
I'd make 14 and 15 slower and tighter. So then you don't get the aero wash through 16, and then you got the braking duel down into 17.
last corner,
At the moment, you just flow too much speed through 14 and 15. I think that then 16 becomes aero wash.
That's right.
And then you can't outbrake someone at 16.
You brake deep, though.
At 17.
Just in general,
Yeah.
at that place. Like,
Yeah.
at turn 6, you brake deep because it's so wide.
Yeah.
So you enter it from real wide. But to bomb someone, like, you're braking at 50...
Yeah, the braking zone's so short.
So short.
Yep.
So
Even turn 1, you can sort of. The last corner's a nice corner. You can you lose a little bit in the dirty air, but you can stay close.
Yeah.
And
Nah,
you just
I
started
think that's
getting the
okay.
toe effect. But it's not it's turn 1's. It's quite an open corner, so it's not the easiest for a good old school dive bomb. If that was a little tighter, it would probably lend itself to some great passing opportunities. Although there was a lot of passing there, I think you'd get more.
Yep.
If it was a slightly tighter radius corner, possibly.
But if you think about what we've learnt this year and we go back next year, do you reckon it'll be more boring or more exciting?
Yep, because everyone's just going to cover
put a co-driver race on Saturday. Remember that one,
they were
Sandown?
cool.
That'd be cool.
But everyone's going to look at the strategies from this year's 500 at the bend, given it was the first one, and everyone's gone, we're going to do that next year because that worked, and so everyone will do that.
I'll tell you
So
the
you're
best
gonna have to
strategy is
come up with something else.
race pace. Race very good balance.
That is wow. That's groundbreaking stuff.
It is. It really is. Because I'm going to sit there and that's what I'm going to dream up for 12 months with speed.
No wonder you're getting 5-second penalties. You deserve one with those sort of comments.
Mate, can we get someone on stats to do everyone's penalties the last 9 years, please? Because I reckon I'm looking pretty still.
We're talking about that. Ross.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Tony got the penalties in 17 in the races.
It was
on TV.
car 17.
What's
Yeah, no,
doing
you are
on?
getting unfairly tarred here.
LTD. What's he-
Tony can't see over the dash and he can't reach the steering wheel.
That's right.
Well, you talk about Frosty about the low deg. Do you reckon that's going to be the same at Bathurst this year?
Interesting.
Don't know. It is hard to follow, isn't it? When it's high deg, don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think the tyre's good too. That's another thing
tyre's
this
much
year.
better.
It's a very good drive tyre. So you get off the corners well. That was the first time I ever had a good tyre on the car, I guess, because at the first test we ran on 24 tyres. The tyre's good. That's one of the biggest things too. And it doesn't deg that much. I remember the 24 tyre you punish and you got hurt. The 25 you punish, cool off, and you go again, and it actually recovers quite well. So it can work two ways, where you back off and have another crack at someone and it works, or that person backs off with you and you just keep cooking his tyres. So I don't know. There's a few factors, isn't there, to play out.
Marbles was a big thing. Actually, I haven't seen that this year with the 25 tyre, the tyre debris on the racetrack. That was big. So, towards the end of the middle to end of the last stint, sort of the last 20 laps, the tyre debris on the track was way more than I've seen from this tyre at all. So that's going to be a factor going to Bathurst, given that we're not going to sweep the track after 500 kilometres and go again. So 1,000k of racing. So it'll be a bit of old school Bathurst, with a bit of tyre debris, and you're going to make sure you don't get offline and that sort of stuff. So that could make
the best part about that is?
What's that?
It's only Will's problem.
Yeah, we'll be out.
That's a Will problem.
We'll be doing the triple stint home from lap 100 at that stage.
It won't be an us problem. It'll be a Will problem.
So there you go, Wilbur. Put that in your notebook.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm still trying to think of a way it end up being your problem too. If it's a Cam problem or a Maddie problem, then it is a problem for you boys.
But less so.
Yep, sort of.
Yeah. I will. I'm not sure on Bathurst because obviously last year we ran the hard tyre. I think we'll all admit the cars were incredibly on edge, very challenging. I had a nasty shunt in qualifying last year, but a lot of dirt had come on the track down the hill. The last minute of qualifying, it's always everyone's that last desperado attempt to get into the shootout, and I just hit all the dirt down through before the dipper and had a nasty shunt. But the cars were very on edge. 2 years ago, right, we're on the soft tyre, so we saw deg was quite extreme, but the lap speed was quite high. But you did have to manage the tyre a bit in the slow speed elements of the circuit. So I'm not sure on this tyre. I think it's going to be somewhere in between. I think the cars will be pretty exciting in qualifying trim. I think they're going to grip up pretty well. In race trim, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be dealing with. If mistakes will be easier or harder to make.
I think we'll have very similar to what we had at the Bend, where the tyre sort of degged, and then it stayed very consistent. So at the Bend, you lost sort of 6-7 tenths from your peak speed out of the pit, and then it stayed really consistent. And I think that's, if you manage the tyre early in the stint, I think it'll probably be like that at Bathurst. I mean, we don't see traditionally a huge amount of deg at Bathurst anyway with the tall diff ratio, so it's not like you get a lot of wheel spin, and it's more about lateral load at Bathurst and managing that. So
and that front tyres as well. I think the Bend, right? I think it's easy to overheat the fronts with the nature of that surface. I don't think we'll see the front tyres cooking at Bathurst as much, just the nature of the corners.
Rocks spat at you.
Yeah.
And then fuel loads. Fuel loads at Bathurst is big too.
Massive.
You know, if there's no minimal deg, then the fuel load's going to play. So who goes long, who goes short? That's why I think Bathurst will play out the undercut, overcut game a little more, and more stops.
It's more about the weight, the fuel you're carrying.
Fuel in hand and all that sort of stuff.
We're talking about that. Like, what have you guys learned out of the Bend, like in preparation-wise, you're going to get ready for, obviously, Bathurst, the big one? Like, are you comfortable?
Garth learnt that he's going to tow me for the whole race, which was really generous of him to sit there. So that was...
You know how, Will, you're saying you found all that dust and debris from Skyline down to the dipper in qualifying? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do that to Frosty in the race.
I thought I was playing Mario Kart, Will.
To Frosty, because you know at the Bend, at the exit of turn 12, that all those rocks in that and the exit there that we all talked about in the driver's briefing. So old mate dropped a wheel there on purpose, and I was like right on his rear bar, and it was like I was under machine gun fire. The amount of junk I copped in the car. You know what it actually did?
That's just
what it did?
Frosty, that is. I'm just going back to
you know what
but
you know what it did? A rock got into the knacker duct, went down the knacker duct, and jammed the helmet fan.
Oh, really?
So it was fine for me because it kept working long enough. By the literally in the pit stop when I got out and Matt got in, the circuit breaker for the cool suit failed, and Matt had no cool suit for the whole race. And when we got back to the workshop, we found a rock in the fan that shorted everything out. I was like, I know when that happened.
Can't guarantee come from my car.
And Matt Payne and Mark Winterbottom are really good mates. I thought that was incredibly ironic.
I'm sorry, Matt. It was for Garth. I thought it would clear by the time you jumped in, but
the curbs have got that. It's
So I'm
going to
do that. I'm going to do that to
grip,
Frosty,
don't they? Though those inside curbs.
Yes.
You sort of aim for them. But not
Frosty
over
was
them.
aiming for the rock.
I aimed for the outside one, and it worked quite well.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that, mate.
So who else was hot besides obviously Frosty and GT and CL? Like who stood out?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I stood out from the back.
I think you will.
There was some good performances.
I thought Todd did a really good job, clearly. I mean,
Yes.
they won, so Todd did a really good job.
Yes.
He's continuing that form from last year. I thought I was following Harry Jones in that first stint, and I thought he did a really good job. I mean, there was a lot of chat about him coming into this enduro campaign. He's done a huge amount of Porsche racing. It's very successful in that. Very little laps in a supercar, never right foot brake before, never really heeled and towed before. And I followed him for 25 odd laps, and he did a really good job. Only made a couple of very small mistakes as the tyre degged, but he covered his ass really well. He didn't let me through. So I thought he did a really good job.
Slady did all right
Slady
too,
was
didn't
fast.
he? He come through and
Yeah.
did a good job. There's some good cars that it was hard to tell, wasn't it? Like some guys in cars that were struggling, some guys in good cars, and I think Bathurst is going to be a good test for everyone because tail and bed kind of dictates. You got a car, it dictates. There wasn't much you could do to hustle it. I found if you have nervous entry, you brake here, you can't brake deeper. It has push, and that's where good cars were fast and whatever. But Bathurst will be a good test. But I thought Slady was really fast. He drove from wherever he was, 8th or 9th, 10th, and he popped up 4th in that gap there. So mistake-free. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes in that race, especially that fast right-hander. They just kept spearing off, which I found really weird. Mine was pushy there, so I had
Mine
no...
was pushy there, yeah.
Well, you did follow the whole...
Yeah,
probably
arrow
arrow
push.
but it was pushy, so
But
I
those
was
mistakes,
surprised.
have consequences at Bathurst.
But they
Big
do.
consequences.
But on that time sheet, we
Frosty's got a
analysed this
soft free
sheet.
spring in, okay? He's pushy at the triple.
Oh man, I can tell you the part number of the diff in the back of that thing.
It's only soft when it's spitting rocks, mate.
I was Formula 4
But
through there.
when you do
pointy,
your
that's what
strategy
I'm doing
report and look at drivers like we do, it's hard to see because it doesn't show the mistake.
Yep.
So some of the people ranked really well, but then they had one bad mistake, which, like you said, Bathurst is game over. So Bathurst the test, always is. It's like the little Sandown or Tail and Bends, the little
warm-up.
little teaser just gives you a little sniff of where
They're,
you're at type
they're edgy
thing.
though, aren't they, the cars at the moment, guys? You guys, first race of the year for you back in these cars at the moment. And I think it's this tyre as well. It has a little bit more ability. I think a slightly larger window on the front and rear, like the sort of the load point of the tyre. It cops a little bit more abuse, I think. You can lean on the front a bit harder, lean on the rear a little bit harder, but it's a very fine line. Like one lap you feel like you've underdone it, and then you overdo it, overdo it. Like it's still got, quite a strange operating window.
Yes, it's really hard to find that limit of the tyre because it's so easy to step over it. It's almost better to underdrive, certainly in race pace, it's better to underdrive the car at like 98% than to trying to drive it at 99.9 because I think it punishes you more when you make a mistake. And if you underdrive it, you can keep the tyre there for the entirety of the stint really nicely. So I certainly learnt that stint 1 to stint 2. Like, that was first race runs I've done on that tyre at all. And in stint 2, it's like, yeah, okay. Once I'd caught old mate, just sit in, don't make any mistakes, and underdrive the tyre. And he was doing the same thing. So we were just a couple of Scarletrix cars driving around at the same speed. But you manage the tyre and the deg, you don't drop away. And then from the rest of we were just gapping everyone behind us at that stage. So how you treat the tyre is so critical. I mean, hey, Supercars 101, nothing's changed there.
Yeah, well, it's different tyre for sure.
Well, the interesting thing is you talk about the top 10. Like the top 10 now, we're getting close to that sort of cut-off period. Like, is there going to be some inter-team tactics of getting other drivers in? Because, like, where I watched Declan Fraser, who was obviously with Heimgardner, and he got sort of, unfortunately, bit boxed out on turn 6. And Heimgardner actually lost. He's now out of the 10. So do you reckon there's going to be some team tactics?
Who we got on the bubble now? Who's so obviously Andre.
Yep.
Kai's 10th. I know that. Kai Allen's 10th.
Randall must be 9th.
Randall's about 8th or 9th.
So they're not really going to be
Andre
wanting to go
dropped
into the
out.
biggest
Percat
race of the
must
year
be
in this
there.
position, are they?
No.
It's a tricky situation.
I mean, this is
to
really
manage.
tricky. I mean, really tricky. I mean, having this cut line at the 1,000, it's really tricky because, I mean, I sort of I looked at it from a TV perspective. So you've got Neil Crompton and Mark Scaife calling Craig Lowndes over the line to win his 732nd Bathurst, but then you're focusing on what's happening for the cars 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th in the championship at the same time because it's critical. So you're celebrating the winner of the 1,000, but then you're also got to have this eye over on what's going on in the championship. I mean, that might resolve itself early in the race. You know, Bathurst being Bathurst, anything could happen, but it's really, really tricky that you might have to sacrifice a third or a fourth at Bathurst to ensure you get yourself into the 10
And
for the championship.
someone in that
Plus
position
the Enduro,
trying to compete
plus the
with
Enduro Cup. You know, those points for that bonus points.
That's right.
You almost can do what Feeney's done over 13, 14 races in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
For us. So if Matty Payne's a big contender, Cam Waters a big contender. If we can give him 25 bonus points,
Yeah,
that's huge.
And a huge, I mean, championship points matter obviously for your seeding points. So that makes a big difference.
So many scenarios.
Yeah.
So
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm really keen to see how it plays out. Like, I mean, we'll be spectators. 3 of us will be spectators by that stage. We'll just be sitting there watching, taking it all in. And I 100%. I mean, Lowndesy, you and I, when I was racing for my championship, we were into each other. You were Morse code on my rear bumper for the entirety of that race, and that's fair game. That was fair game.
Yep.
And it was the other way around in 06 when you and Rick were going at it in the earlier heats. I was making sure I was doing whatever I could to help Rick with his championship, and that was fair game. And as long as you do it within the rules that Craig Baird has laid down, and I think that Craig's already sort of said, hey, anything that's out of control, you'll just be pulled out, basically. And I'm not sure that anyone's going to do that at the end of the race at Bathurst. So I'm really keen to see how it all plays out.
What about you, Wilbur, for Brody? Because are you a chance of the 10 or no mathematically?
No,
Are you?
I'm long gone
No.
for the finals dream.
So
I was
have they
clinging on to
mentioned
an
any of
insurance-
that?
What's that?
Anything there from the team for the finals?
Not directly. It's obviously comes up in conversation, and not exactly how would you play tactics, but of course it's after Bathurst. That's the one event where I can salvage some goodness out of my year that's been challenging, and that's the beauty of Bathurst. It's very unlike me that I'm not in the 10 at this time of the year, but we won't go into my season. But we know the potential's still strong. But anything but excellence at this stage in all elements of your car and your preparation just doesn't cut it. The depth is so high. But I've had rounds this year where I'm on the front row and qualifying well, so we know when it all clicks, you can be there. As you guys said, it's very much a car-orientated sport at the moment. The cars are so sensitive. So I'm just going there, guns blazing, nothing to lose, trying to, be in amongst the action at Bathurst. But after that is when these talks are going to take place. If you've got teammates in that 10, you are going to become a number 2. That's just a fact. What that means, I don't know. But, of course, you're going to do what you can to help your teammate in any way.
What about you, GT? Obviously, as you said, you got Kai that's right on that cusp of falling in or out of it. So is like a Matty Payne going to go, I'll sacrifice a position to get you into that 10?
Oh, look, it's got to be so circumstantial, though, doesn't it? I mean, realistically, it comes down to the last 10, 15 laps of Bathurst, and the cars almost have to be running 4th and 5th or whatever they might be, and maybe Kai finishing 4th is the difference, then that circumstance will dictate one outcome. But if the cars are 3rd and 12th, then you can't change anything.
No.
So it's so circumstantial. So I think Will's point's valid that at Bathurst it's probably less likely, but if you do get for example, you get both cars into the final post-Bathurst, then that becomes different, and then you'll look at it, and you have to look at it on a situation-by-situation basis. But I liked what Will said there, that, hey, you can have a really bad year and you can still win Bathurst, and then you're having a good year. So you've got effectively 18 cars like that right now that are not realistically going to be part of the finals. They couldn't care less. They don't care about the 12 cars racing into the final. So if they go and have a good Bathurst and they win it, They don't care. That's what their job is. They're going to try and win Bathurst.
It's the beauty of
That's
that
what
race,
makes
isn't
this
it?
thing so interesting. Yeah. It makes this whole deal so interesting.
100%.
I find the 10 funny too. You know, like you play out the whole year and then it comes down to one race. You're like, if you had the chance all year, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny. If you're good enough throughout the whole year, you make the 10, don't you? But
Yeah, that's
when
the
you-
thing. If you're good enough,
when you're
gonna
banking
be
it on
there.
one race right at the end.
yeah.
But then, like I said before, imagine Matt Payne loses his 25 points bonus and he moves over to let Kai through, and I'd take the 25-point bonus than the 2 cars in the 10 because that's going to be worth more to win it, isn't it? There's all these scenarios
Yeah, there's
that
too many scenarios.
play
I
out.
think you can be cute and it bite you in the bum.
bite you in the bum. But I think it's going to be good to watch the finals to see these tactics play out because there's team tactics like, you know, pit priority and
that's
all
the
that sort
thing.
of stuff.
Pit priority will be interesting.
And then we've seen it over years. Everyone says they don't, but the team car, I think Lowndes, one of our cars, Steve Owen, come into Homebush and found himself in front of you and held you up for a little bit longer than he was meant to. But it happens. Like they become focused on one person, don't they? That's the
Elaborate.
game.
What was
And,
this? What's this story? What's this Stevie Owen story? I love
Stevie
this.
O just got in front and Lowndes, his radio was
was
open
this?
for a while, was on fire, it was lighting up.
Craig Lowndes wouldn't do that. He's a nice guy. He's always smiling. He never fires up.
But he had a very wide car, Stevie O, that day. But that's the tactics, and that's the fun
100%.
part about this sport that we watch, isn't it? Like, it'll play out. This top 10's going to play out for sure back end of the year.
I mean, when they announced this system, whether you were for or against it, I suppose the perfect storm's brewing, isn't it? I mean, who would have thought you'd see someone running away with the championship like Brock Feeney with the stats he's racked up? It's pretty impressive. And I think the way he's handling it's quite good at the moment because deep down you couldn't help but feel like, of all years, like, do we have to have this system coming in now? But that's just a distraction. If he lets that get to him, it's going to affect him in that key time of the year. But I kind of feel for him a little bit because I honestly think it's wide open. This run home at the circuits they go to, you know, him being the sprint champion, doesn't really count for a huge amount. So it's pretty cruel, but it's where we've gone with the sport, and it's going to be exciting for people tuning in.
The finals aspect with Brock hasn't kicked in yet because obviously we're not there yet. He's won the Sprint Cup and he's already in. But if this was regular championship season and Brock had a bad result at the Bend, which, you know, has happened in the past. I mean, I've been leading a championship going into Sandown and Bathurst and had a bad Sandown and a DNF at Bathurst and championship over. That's it, game over. And there was no finals then. If I would have loved to have been finals because I would have been in the finals and I could have had another crack. So, you know, you can be in the situation that Brock's in right now. I mean, he could go to Bathurst. Something that the clutch could fail, lap one. They're out of the race. Matt Payne wins it. He's leading the championship on points. So that could happen. And then all of a sudden, Brock Feeney loves the finals because he's back. Then it's complete reset and he's going again. So right now you can say, oh, this could happen, that could happen, this could happen. And, you know, because of the work that's happened prior. But in reality, we could go to Bathurst. Brock could have another bad day. Whatever could happen, Bathurst being Bathurst. And all of a sudden, the finals are his friend. And he's back into the game and he's on an even keel because the points don't matter anymore. So I think it's popular at the moment for fans on socials and all the rest of it to give supercars a whack saying we've got this final system, it's unfair and all the rest of it. Just wait. Let it play out and let's see what it does. I think it's great that we're doing something different.
There will
Question
be
for
hard
you,
luck
this for you,
stories.
Garth.
Well, and the
Oh,
pressure.
yeah, there will be.
Yeah, and
It's
the pressure.
It's exciting.
There always
It's going to
is.
be exciting.
Oh, 100%. And the pressure that's going to be on those
Speaking
four.
about Brock, like, just speaking about Brock here, he's had the perfect run, right? We chatted at Queensland and I was with you when he handed the golden ticket over to him and all that. So he's had the perfect run, unfazed, no issue in the world, done a really good job. Taylor Ben goes first enduro, he puts on pole, perfect run, doesn't hop in the car, and all this disaster happens out of his hands. So he hasn't even hopped in the car yet. How do you think mentally he's taken it? Because that's the first time I saw on the coverage, he showed a little bit of, not emotion, but look on his face because he's been in control. It's the first time he didn't have control of this championship, I felt, but it's nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Mindset was, how does he go to Bathurst knowing that the mistakes on the weekend weren't from him, but it's had, you know, like momentum's big in this sport.
Yeah.
I just saw on the coverage, when I saw his face, it was the first time I saw something that was like, he's been so strong mentally. He's had control. The first time it looked like he had no control of the situation. What do you think Bathurst, for him, how does he approach it mentally? Because I don't know if you saw that too.
Yeah, I did see that.
But...
Yeah, I did see it. I think if I was in Brock's shoes, I would be going to Bathurst not changing anything. I mean, you know, when Jamie made that mistake on Saturday morning and ran to the back of Scott Pye, I thought, wow, the rest of the field's in big trouble here, because we all know Jamie the way that it is. Like, this is a massive reset moment for Jamie. He's going to come back and absolutely smash all of us, like he's done in the past. Didn't quite work out for him this time with the issue with the refueling and all the rest of it. But so you'd have to back the fact that the guy that's won 7 championships and 4 Bathurst is probably looking at himself in the mirror going, you know what, I'm going to be better when I get to Bathurst. So he's going to take care of himself. So if I'm Brock, I'm just going to turn up and do what I've done all year. And then if it starts going sideways early in practice, then you've got to show a bit of leadership. And you're going to actually have to show a bit of leadership with the co-driver, with your engineer, with Marty Short, with the whole team, and say, come on, guys, get around them a little bit. But that's preempting something that might not even happen. So, like, if I'm Brock Feeney, I'm going there doing exactly what I've done all year because that's worked for him, and knowing full well that his co-driver is arguably the greatest of all time in our sport in the modern era. He's going to tune himself up. So there's not going to be a problem there. Team's going to tune themselves up. I mean, I'd hate to think how long the debrief was at Banyo Lowndes when they were talking about refueling rigs. I've sat in those meetings in that boardroom, and they go for a very long time. I doubt that Triple Eight are going to have any of those issues again going forward.
Correct. And it was long. I think it was about 4.5 hours or something. It went on and on.
Yeah.
It was...
been in those ones. And I bet you weren't allowed to have your phone either.
No, actually, well, part of the whole thing now is obviously Will Brown being in Toowoomba and everyone else, and Scotty Pye in Melbourne and all that. So, like, is 50-50 now, the ones that are actually in the workshop and then the others that are on Zoom. So, but
they've got it easy now.
Yeah. We don't fly you up anymore.
I just have to fly up from Melbourne.
Budgets.
And good with Zoom, you just put it on mute and you just walk away for a while. No, you don't really. All right, we've got to move on. We've got to move to the mailbag. So, and you're talking about Bathurst. The fans make up the Bathurst. What's the wildest thing you've all seen off track?
Off track? Goodness me. One of you boys start. I've got some. I'm just trying to work out whether it's above board or not.
There's a guy going up Mountain Straight that was there. He was certainly there in 23 when I was with Reynolds. We were going up Mountain Straight, and he had not much on, but a pair of like red Speedos and sort of like a superhero mask on, and that was it. And I'm not going to say he was the fittest guy in the world. Like, there was a fair bit of body movement going on when he was sort of doing the jig, and he was standing on top of this, and like this on the Drivers Parade. You know what the Drivers Parade's like. And that was pretty wild. Like, for a modern one, that was pretty wild. I don't really want to see that too often in my life.
Did you win in 2000? Was that the wet year, GT?
2000,
This isn't modern day, is it? I was a kid in Formula Ford, but it was like my first time there, and I just remember being down where the now hotel is, I think maybe on the Sunday night, and there was just this tractor coming down with like this man-made esky trailer, and there was just bodies, like couldn't even see their skin. They'd obviously been having mudslides all weekend, and they were just dumped on top of each other about 4 high, just hanging off the back of this trailer. And I'm like, what on earth is going on up there? Like, that was an eye-opener. But I don't know.
I remember early days, Lounsey, you remember this. Like, my first year was 98, and the mountain was still pretty wild back then. And I remember it might have been the first year, 98, and we were staying in town, and you look up at the mountain
the
where
flames,
the track is,
the couch is burning.
And it was like orange. Yeah, like the top of the mountain's glowing, and the whole joint's on fire. And it was like, man, I'm not going anywhere. The first time I actually went to the top of the mountain was like 2011. Like, it took me that long to be brave enough to go up there.
I've got a funny story
when
actually
you break
going
down
up the top
at
of
the
the mountain.
You roll to the bottom.
Me and Jamie, actually, he'll laugh at this. So we were both pretty young, and our main drivers, yourself, CL, I think it was 06 or 07, and Stevie J were in the shootout. So we're like, let's just grab a scooter. What a great idea. Let's get up. It was 07, so Jamie had already won Bathurst with you in 06, but we didn't really think anyone knew who we were. And we got halfway up, I think, just to about Sulman Park, and this mob of people just started seeing Jamie. We're on this scooter and just started like pegging rocks at him, like trying to rip us off the scooter. And literally, no word of it, like joke, like we've literally done like a donut. He's like, quick, let's get out of here. Like, it was getting violent, and we've just pinned it down to the chase and watched there, which is there's another story when we got to the chase, but I'll leave that for another time.
I tried really hard to hit him with that rock too, but anyway.
Impressive. You were driving. Didn't you get pole in 07?
No,
driving and pinging rocks.
I'll throw rocks at you. I'll throw rocks at him.
Who polled 07? It was one of your Walkinshaw.
Frosty, I think, did.
Yeah, I polled
Frosty
07.
did.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, Frosty did.
Yeah.
I was watching you boys through the chase.
Slipped
I'm like,
off the
one
brake
day,
pedal at the chase.
one day
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to do a shootout there. It's so good standing on the outside of the chase, isn't it?
It is.
When you're at that little camp spot there, just seeing them. They used to be bouncing on the rev limiter, bouncing through there. I miss that, actually.
Lounsey,
Yes.
you would have seen some wild stuff in your time at the mountain.
Oh, can you imagine?
Well,
Come on.
What rating are we? Actually,
No, come on, we're all adults here.
Yeah, no. We've got some.
Tenfold on anyone, your fan base, Lindsay. I can't imagine what you've had to deal with.
Actually, I had a mate, and he just reminded me the other day that he came to Bathurst in the early days, but he had a friend that came out from the UK. And, of course, you remember when you used to drive to the top, well, you probably don't, Will, but when you used to drive to the top, they used to have like little checkpoints, but it was the fans that were the checkpoints. And if you didn't do a big enough burnout that either turn your car upside down or set it alight. But he didn't. He was from England. So my mate going, well, you got to do a burnout. And he's thinking they're going to burn my car out. So he actually drove straight through the first checkpoint, shit himself. And then he goes, no. And then the crowd was starting to get irate, like him just absolutely blowing through the first checkpoint. So then he finally did it. Must have done a decent burnout and got to the top. But he was just blown away by how, I suppose, like the Mad Max version was up at the top. Like this, like when I suppose we always used to talk about, like if you're a female, back in that day, you never went to the top of the mountain because you never come back.
Yes, no, it's probably a good thing.
But it is much better.
No,
We're talking about the old. We're talking about the old.
it's
way
very
old
family
days,
friendly up there now, isn't it? It's still got its character.
very
There's
flashed down
children,
the
there's
bottom
wives
too.
up there.
Well, I
Families.
remember in I came back from Europe in 97 and I crashed at the top of the mountain following Scave. And I got into the police compound, which is still up there, but it's obviously now much bigger. They got a new one. But I went into the police compound. They got all this 6-foot cyclone fencing and barbed wire at the top. And bugger me, when I went inside to wait for the transport to come back down, they're all sitting and they're having all this food that was in this long trestle. And I said, what are you guys doing? He goes, well, we're just sitting here. It's like basically our holiday. We don't really give a hoot what's going on out there. And I think that's what sort of the mentality was. Like they just didn't really care. So it was wild and wonderful back then. But yes, you're right, Garth.
And now it's very
changed.
family friendly,
Yes, it
with
is.
a touch of Bathurst.
Yep.
So getting to that, so Bailey sent in a question. Do you have a favourite Bathurst moment that isn't yours?
Let's cross to Melbourne.
Oh.
Well, you can't keep doing that. Like, hang on a minute, I'll think about it while
It's like
they're
the weather
answering.
guy, isn't he? He's like the weather guy. I'll go back to you, Koshy.
No, I'm just intrigued. I'm looking forward to this.
Bathurst moment that's not
Not your own.
mine.
Mine's Jim Richards with pockets full of cans. Or was that Scaife with him?
No, well, Scaife was the one loaded with the cans.
Yes.
So he was
Okay.
pinging them at the crowd.
Yeah,
was
no,
Scaife.
'cause Jimmy was
Can't
all
imagine
fired up.
Can't imagine Scaife up for a fight.
I still feel DJ was robbed. Back in that day.
I
Complaining on three wheels, wasn't it? On the red flag.
love that the guy that's so quiet and so calm and so in control goes out on the podium and calls them a pack of arseholes.
This is going to remain with me for a long time. You're a pack of arseholes.
I thought that was.
Sums up Gentleman
As a kid,
Jim, though, doesn't
that
it?
was as a kid. I was about 14 or 15. Then I was like, man, that's cool.
I love it, though, because he was
And
such a
the fact
gentleman,
that's in
but
that-
he was such
yeah,
an
they're
amazing
They're using that in the ad
animal of a
this year as
racer.
well.
Are they?
They're using
it's
that
a
in the
classic
Repco
line
ad
at
this
the end.
year.
Can someone,
Yeah, it's
whoever
great.
wins this year, can we come up with, not copying it, but something, I don't know,
We need the Tui's
get
beer
Richo
cans as
up
well
there,
in
man.
Scafey's jacket.
throw out some kombucha cans these days, I don't know.
Oh no, Scafey now he'd have like $100 bottles of red tucked down in his jacket.
Mini Grangers.
Like mini bar Grange.
Well, we still haven't answered this question. What's the one that not yours, but someone else's?
Goodness, too many. I don't know.
You know what I do find myself doing is going back and looking at shootout laps.
Yeah, they are.
From like as early as you can find on YouTube. So like there's a really cool one of Brock in the
92,
Mobile
is that what you're
Commodore. I
thinking?
think it's a VN.
Yeah.
And he's completely out of
Is
control.
that where he drops
like
a wheel
typical
out of
Brock.
McPhillamy, that one?
Yeah, all that
No
one.
power
He's
steering into the
completely out
cutting.
of control. Yeah, that's what I find myself reminiscing and looking at is that era of Bathurst and really like, man, that was cool. And then Brock coming back and laughing about it.
And
Like,
just those Sierras when they're at full boost down the end of Conrod.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
like-
hearing them come on
I
like
reckon
a light
that. Remember
switch.
the Texaco ones? The 1987.
Edinburghers, wasn't it?
87, the Texaco with the cheating fuel or whatever they had.
Yeah,
that
the-
was
no,
A
refuel looked like
wheelbase?
he
Was
worked
it the
at
track?
NASA.
Yeah.
GT?
Inner guards.
Inner guards?
What's that, mate?
No, the Texaco Sierras that got done in 87. That was the wheelbase or the guards, wasn't it?
In the guards.
The guards, they had massive tyres on them. Yeah.
But how good's the evolution of cameras? Like you talk about Brock, about Dick. I remember they were talking to Dick down into the chase and the rear wing collapsed.
We were just talking to you. We felt sorry that we might have put you off, but it looked like the rear wings collapsed on the car.
It certainly has, Michael. And I tell you, it's like a fly swat without it. I can give you the mail order.
Sprint race, not the 1,000.
Yeah, I
That was
know,
a sprint
but it's still
race.
one of those moments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going any slower, I guess. If it's a sprint race or the 1,000.
No,
Still going to get your
100%.
attention when the wing falls off it.
Yeah. But
You know what?
06
I
was
reckon-
pretty special, Lowndesy. I'm going to just go with that one.
Oh, okay.
06, watching you under the pump there. I remember that last stint I was out of the race. I think I was, 5 or 6 drinks down at the chase there. We went out very early in the race, Stevie J. But seeing Rico, I just remember those laps, qualifying lap, going, I want to be a part of a finish like that one day. It really encaptured what that race is about, the emotion on you that day, seeing you and Jamie that morning on the grid, I remember it. But just seeing this Rick, the strengths and weaknesses in the cars. I think you had big top end on you. You were quick over the top. I love that the cars were doing the same lap time in a pretty different way.
Yeah.
I just remember tuning in, loving that.
And while we were still hanging Scaife, he was by that time, he was back in Melbourne, I think because he only literally got the first 300, 400 metres around the corner. And it all turned to...
Yeah, I was sharing with him. I was sharing with him in
that was
one.
the race you guys.
And not only did the clutch fail, then Scaife got the helicopter home. I had to drive home. So it's actually incredible how few cars are on the road from Bathurst to Melbourne on Bathurst Sunday.
Funny that.
During the day. I actually stopped to get fuel halfway home, whatever it is, Gunter guy or something like that. And the guy in the servo goes, shouldn't you be in the race? Yeah, long story, buddy. And kept going.
But
Speaking about like the Bathurst, speaking about those Bathurst, some of our best races have been, I reckon some of the best drives that we've all done have been at Bathurst. That one in 19, Wilbur, I said it to you at the time. I reckon that is your best drive by a long way, like to hold off gears at the end.
16.
16, sorry.
Yep.
16.
He's done it. Will Davison is going to win the 2016 race.
That was a massive drive. And then you holding off Lowndesy in 09?
Oh, yeah.
11, that one.
Far out. I'm really
11,
bad at stats.
yeah.
This is the year of the rookie and the pro, Tander and Nick Percat.
I remember watching them, but some of those hold-offs that both you guys did at that time, like that one for you, Will, but that was huge. I thought that was your best drive I've ever seen. You're an amazing driver. We've been teammates, but that drive that day was pretty epic.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Anyway,
Yeah, but Bathurst does that. You did it with Frosty did it with Jamie when you had your win. Lowndes, you talked about Rick, and you've had 7 of them. So Wilbur's one. I mean, I've had a couple that have been really, really
Isn't it
close.
a crazy feeling, guys, though, if you're fortunate to get in that position where you're leading the last lap? It's the moment you fear the most, but the moment you cherish the most, right?
Yep.
Like everything you dream of is to be you want to be arm out the window doing it by 8 seconds. You've had a few of them. But you go to be a part of the biggest prize in our sport under the greatest pressure. That's everything you dream of. As long as you come out on top, the thought of, not getting it and being so close hurts a lot. And I think we can all vouch for that. Yeah,
that's the sport. I mean, to quote the great crew chief in Days of Thunder, Harry Hogg, that's it. That's what it's all about. That when you are 5 to go at Bathurst, you and one other car going at it, absolutely hammer and tongs, driving the car to the maximum, not even looking at the dash, not even looking in the mirrors. Like that last lap when Lowndes was chasing me in 2011, I looked in the mirror once. And that's where I knew.
He had a speed advantage on
I
you
knew
too.
where he was faster than me. I looked in the mirror once to make sure I had him covered. And then after that, I didn't look. Because it was just like, if I do my job properly and put the car where I need to put my car, I should be able to get the job done. So that's the sport. And that's why Bathurst, I think everyone goes, why is Bathurst so special? That stuff there, that's why Bathurst is so special.
Brings out the big moments for sure.
Yeah.
How are those moments when you're nice and relaxed and you know someone's quicker, but you've got them covered in that key spot, like you just touched on GT, where it might be leading to a passing opportunity. And you might have done 30 laps where you just, I know if I prop it here, get a good exit, you get that 3 car lengths, you're pretty sort of relaxed. Although you're under the pump, you feel in control.
Yeah.
And then there's that one lap where they've got it close in your one comfort spot. And it's just like,
Oh, don't worry. There was moments in that race GT was talking about. I could have shoved it up the inside, but I don't think either one of us would have come out the other end.
No, it was first or gravel track.
No,
wasn't
it was that one too. I turned in once going, well, I'm turning in here. If we crash, we crash.
All right, I'll give you an easy one then from Alex. Who inspired you to get into motorsport?
You looking at me again?
Yeah, I'm looking at you because you keep throwing it to
Yeah,
Melbourne.
no, you've got to answer this one first, Will. No deferring.
Well, that's easy. I mean, I suppose I put it down to family because I suppose it wouldn't be on this planet without your family, and the passion comes from my dad, from my brother, from my grandfather.
Motor racing dynasty, the Davisons.
Yeah.
Motor racing dynasty.
So I suppose it's just natural.
Royalty.
Yeah, I was just obsessed with it, but for the right reasons, I like to say. You know, I think we just enjoyed watching Grand Prix as a kid, Bathurst with my dad, and it has to be a natural love, though. I mean, you can love a sport and not want to do it, but then I think from very early on, I just got the bug. Sitting in front of the telly with race gear on, watching Bathurst Formula One laps, you're just obsessed with it. And go-karting as a kid, which we can probably all vouch for, that should mean as much winning that club day as winning the Bathurst 1000 at that moment as a kid, because you're not doing it for anything else but to win and the thrill of driving. So people, like, if they ask, how do I get to, Formula One or supercars, I think there's a rocky road that between where you are as a kid and there, if you explain it, it's a very rocky road. But it's not rocky when you're doing what you love and you're just crawling over hot glass to get to that next step, right?
But you're also, somewhat different to others because you had your brother, Alex, was also a racer. It's almost like the Callies. You got two brothers.
The older brothers, I think, get all the mistakes out of the way and drive all the bad Formula Fords. And then by the time I get in, I'm just like, this is
you had a good Formula Ford, Wilbur. You had a very good Formula Ford.
No, I had the good Formula Ford. I think Alex had a few lemons before I got there, but not your one. Yours was his first good one, that beautiful 95 VD, which is still not for sale, GT, but
No, I'll get it. Don't worry, I'm going to get it one day. I'm going to get your old man at a weak moment.
I was going to say, your dad's still got it.
He races it. Victorian
filling full of reds, I'll get him.
He's very proud of that one still. At 71, I'll give it to him. He did race at Goodwood last week in a Lotus 18 in the Revival in a Dan Gurney 1960 Grand Prix car. Dad ticked off a childhood dream as doing the Goodwood Revival. So he was packing himself.
Cool.
But
See?
It was wet. Can you imagine driving that thing in the wet at a circuit? You don't know. But he brought it back with all four wheels. How'd you go? All four wheels were pointing in the one direction. Objective.
Good job.
You guys?
Yeah, same. It was my dad, my family. My dad never drove, but worked on race cars as sort of a hobby. There was always a race car in the shed at home, and I think got the go-kart at 8, and that was it. Still haven't stopped. So I mean that, and the same like you, Will. It was like, winning the club day or winning that open meeting or winning your first state championship was like when you were 11 or 12 years old was like the biggest thing in the world. It was like bigger than winning Bathurst. So it's very, very similar.
And Frosty
We
used
used to
to
race
like,
each
you
other
can
a bit,
buy
didn't we,
a
Will,
copy
but
of my
back in
book now. To answer that question. I'm looking
Back
forward
in
to
the day,
reading that.
Wilbur, remember those little 11-year-old, 12-year-old races
well,
back
you
in
were
the day?
king, Frosty. I remember if you went interstate, being a Victorian, you'd go to like New South Wales and you'd just see this bloke winning by like a lap. And this Mark Winterbottom at the Nationals, 96. I just remember some
And then
of
I'd sell my engine to Dumbrell or something, and that'd
that's
fund my
when we
year.
moved
So.
on to junior inter and stuff, wasn't it? But I remember the early days of Junior National Light and stuff. Some of your victories at the Nationals. I was a couple of years, maybe a year or two behind in rookies, but your dominance. I just remember going, who is this alien? 41 with that Simpson Super Show, the shark with that helmet.
I still got it.
He came over to WA once. I don't know if you remember this. It was a street race down at Bunbury. And you were racing an all-kart, factory driver.
That's right.
And my brother was in that race. And I said to him, man, just fix this guy. Just fix him up. Don't have anyone from the East Coast come over to WA and beat you. Just fix him up. And I don't think he was fast enough to get to your rear bumper.
I remember that race because I remember they used to give us T-shirts back in the day. They'd give you a team shirt, and I had an all-kart shirt. And I opened a tomato sauce and spilled it on my brand new shirt. I was shattered. I remember Bunbury, not for crashing into people, for spilling tomato sauce on my factory all-kart T-shirt.
You sound
10% off,
like
full
my son.
sponsor.
Actually, this one's for you, Frosty. It's from Lockie. Who's your favourite Tigford Super 2 driver?
Wouldn't happen to be Lockie Dalton, would it?
I don't know. That's just the question.
No. Great.
Can't
Who's
have
it
favourites
from?
when there's
Who's it
4 of
from?
them, mate.
From
Can't have-
Lockie.
It's from
Yeah, Lockie Dalton.
From Lockie Dalton.
Yeah, Lockie Dalton.
No, he's a good kid, Lockie. He's a very, very beautiful young man. But they're all good kids. I'm lucky. I've got 4 really good, young, respectable guys to work with. It's actually a lot of fun, and I think it gives you a purpose when you finish. Like it's really nice. These young guys, they're trying to become the next, whatever, Will Davison, Lowndes, whatever, in the sport, and they'll do anything to get there. But I don't remember. I don't know, us at that age, we were like on a mission. These guys are so respectful and nice and polite. And they're all working together. Like
I think you just got
remember it
2
was
nice
dog
ones
eat
down
dog.
there.
Yeah, but it's dog eat dog to get in. But these guys are working together really well.
Yep.
Their first 4 in the championship, they're doing a really good job. So that is going to be from Lockie Dalton, I'd say. Yep. And he knows. But no, I'm joking. They're all good. They're all good. Very lucky.
Favourite's the one that's winning. That's your favourite.
Yeah, or giving you the least headaches.
Yeah, well, they're usually winning. If they're winning, they're like, yeah, I've got
But
this.
attitude's a big thing at
But
that
then-
age, isn't it, Frosty? Are you sort of looking for that now, being the mentor? Because there's so many fast
What is it,
kids.
mate?
I'm just saying attitude, right? Like there's so many fast kids now. But I think it looks very tricky to take that step now. Like from Super 2, they're all pretty qualified
It
with
is.
simulation. The equipment's much closer in that field now. So what gets them to that next step is probably, I'm sure it's what you're looking at and working with them and enjoying is who's got the right attitude.
They're all
to
fast.
learn
They're
from
fast.
errors.
Like
and-
they're very fast. They just get it. They just understand it, but they come ready. And I think guys like it's really important. Matt Payne was the perfect one, and I'm a big fan of him. But he gets 21 years old. He's done what we took 15 years to it. Like the experience they've got. So you look at Roland Gray, you look at Lockie, you look at Nash, Ruben. They're all racing multiple categories. So. On our weekends off, we had no money as well. So you'd race Super 2, you'd do 6 rounds a year, you'd get a couple of test drives in a main car and whatever. But they go Super 2, next week they go GT4, then they go GT3, then they go back to a Super 2 test. Then they're in the car 25 weekends of the year, it's pretty full on. So by the age of 21, they've done 3 full, genuine years of racing that took us 10 years to tick off the same amount. So
I would have been lucky to have done 20 Formula Ford races total before I drive a supercar.
Yeah, but they drive everything. Then they go and teach. They do driver days with people. They're in the car a lot. So they're comfortable. So when they turn up, they're not rusty. They turn up and lap 1, they're on it. So we're making setup changes after the first session. Remember Super 2 for us, like, back in the day, like you'd literally, first session, can you just let me get up to speed? And then next outing, don't touch anything yet. I think it's me. Like, it would take, but now, lap 1, they're literally brake marker, bang, simulation, and just being in the car so much. They're very, very good. So it's a generation shift for sure, seeing these young blokes come through.
Yeah, but it's also a good time of the champ or the series and the category at the moment. Like you're just talking about that, Frosty. Like when we all went through it, like you just struggled to do race miles. Like GT's doing a great program with the Groves racing. You're doing it with Super 2. I'm enjoying doing the stuff with the wild card. So it's great that you've got this, like I suppose the older generation drivers still giving back to the sport and helping that next generation come through.
100%.
Who's your wild card next year, Lowndesy? Have you got a scoop?
Who
Me.
Are you gonna run? You're with
It'll be me.
Team 18, isn't it? You're with
Yeah,
team 18.
what's your
It'll be
scoop? It's
Team
a
18
great
and
place
me.
to announce it.
Yeah, well, you're going to need another co-driver next year. Zach will be doing something different.
Who's
so-
been ringing you a lot?
Yeah.
Who's been texting you asking how you been? And
No, actually, no one. That's the interesting thing.
Well,
Like,
they're all useless then, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
that'll-
we haven't taught them
That's
too
a
well.
good point, Garth. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't
yeah.
wait for the
I
phone
reckon
to
I
ring,
know.
right? That's
I
rule
reckon-
number one.
who you got?
I reckon I know. Jared Hughes will be with him next year.
Jared Hughes.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he didn't flinch. It's not Jared Hughes. Go
Yeah,
Wilbur, throw
no.
one at him. You're next to him.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Nash. There we go. Nash. He's super
Nash.
cheap. Isn't he?
Well, that was a reaction. That's a bit. That was something.
That'd be interesting. Nash is actually, like you're saying, driving everything at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned.
All right, I've got one here from James. We've got time. Okay, so this is more to you guys. So more the co-drivers, and Frosty, this will be your first time experiencing this. But after so many years, driving to the end, to the flag, the 1,000, what does it feel like watching someone else do those sprints to the finish, those last stints.
Bloody nervous, I can tell you. I think, my opinion is that you're much more calmer and confident in the car because you know what's going on. Like you said, like with 5 laps to go, you're listening and you're feeling everything that's going on in the car, and you're sort of in your own mindset. You know you got 5 laps remaining. You know where the tyres are at. You know where the car's at. You're standing in the garage. You're pacing because you don't know. Yeah. And I've got to say, Zach doesn't do a lot of talking on the radio, so you don't get a lot of feedback. So you get this sort of like, no, it's all good. Yeah, but is it all good, or is there something going on in the car that we just don't know? So being in the garage for me is much worse.
It was weird. I went and got changed. I jumped out. I went and got changed.
Rookie.
I know.
Rookie. He had no faith in in Cam. He was going to put it on the podium.
I just didn't know what to do. I got changed, and then I went in and I got some food, and I sat back down, and there was like 45 laps to go. And then I'm like, well, what do I do now? So then I walked back in, put my suit back on, come back in.
Good on you, Garth.
Sat down and then had 30 laps to go. I forgot that moment. But it is a big shift, like you just, it's different. It's very different. Yeah. But starting the race was cool. I really enjoyed that. But I think the Saturday is one of the biggest differences where, building up for qualifying and getting in that moment. Because when you go to Bathurst or when you go to Tail and Bend, you drive the car as the main for speed. Like you get that tyre run, multiple tyre runs. You would have done 2 or 3 green tyre runs in practice. And you're built for speed. And then you go into the truck, you lead the setup direction, you push the narrative and so on. But when you're co-driver, you go in trying to listen to the main guy, support him because end of the day, he does the biggest bulk of the stint. He wins the race. So it's a different mind shift, not just the race, but the whole weekend of what role it is and not trying to play the senior role. You're actually playing the supportive role. So I found the whole weekend different, to be honest, Wilbur. But it's really enjoyable. When you're with a guy who's a friend who's very switched on as well, it's actually quite enjoyable to sit back and not feel that, not pressure, but that responsibility. It's actually quite nice to see someone lead. And Cam actually, surprisingly, does he's a leader. And I haven't seen that from him because 6 years ago I left the team and he was the younger guy. He leads the team very well. So it was really cool to see him kind of, go from the kid to the adult and really lead that team. And the whole weekend's different. It's a really weird feeling.
He's a good Cam's good operator, isn't he? I remember 2020 when I was out that year, but we've both had a second next to Cam in a monster suit, Frosty. But yeah, I really enjoyed my weekend with Cam. It's the last time I've done it. In a while, obviously being that the co-driver role, but it's he's calm, he's chill, isn't he? He's an impressive operator that week.
Pushes when he has to and chilled when he has to. But even that group, it was nice to work with that group again. Like you just go in there, it's the same people, and it's just nice. It's different. But what about you, Garth? What do you find for the weekend?
Oh no, mine was a bit different. When I first went co-driving, I was with Shane, so. I just basically very much complimentary, just I'll do whatever you need me to do, work on the race car. And then year 2, he's going, man, you just set the race car up. I'll worry about the qualifying car. You do the race car.
That's because you went out and did a 204 in
that was
practice.
the last year. That was the last year.
I remember that very well. You rolled out lap 1, 204.1 or something.
Garth just cruising and co-driving.
Yeah, it's just cruising to a race run.
Yeah, just doing a race run. Yeah. So, but it's different now, obviously, with Matt. So last year with Matt, I probably led more of the setup stuff. Because it was, he's still very young and all the rest of it. Whereas this year it was very much, man, it's your show. You lead the setup, and I'll help you where I can. And I'll in my sessions I'll work on what we need to work on. But it's your show, and it's sort of very similar to what you were doing with Cam. So, you can't. I mean, I guess as an experienced co-driver, you can't come in with the young guys. And Cam's not a young guy, so it's a bit different for you, Frosty. But for me with Matt, you can't come in and go, well, this is how I used to do it, and we're going to do it like this. Because there's no potential for growth for them there as a young driver to continue to develop their skill set. So every now and then I was like, just consider this. But ultimately the final decision's yours. But just consider this in your thinking. So that's probably more my role now.
How are the butterflies? Going into the big one.
Nah.
Never gets less. No. Chill. You're relaxed.
No. Anxious. You get anxious. Everyone used to ask, do you get nervous? Never got nervous. But if the race was starting at 11:45, I'm like, 11:40, come on, let's go. I'm ready to go. Want to get on with it. No, but so you get anxious, but I never got nervous.
That start line. The start line's the nervous part when I I don't know, when the
Once you're in,
anthem...
you chill.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Anthem
Good to
song.
know. Good to know.
Oh, I've got a pretty good start on the weekend, mate. That's my bread and butter. I'll just spit some rocks at you. If you get too close to me, I'll spit rocks at you. Don't worry about it. But that anthem, you know, when you stand around and that silence of the anthem, when the crowd and the song and then the jets come over and then it's that mad flurry of, I've got to go to the toilet, quick, bang. You run off, heart rate gets up, run back to the car, helmet on, sit in, and then that's that. I think when you're in the car, it's like there's a purpose. You sit in there and it's
like a happy place.
It's like a happy place. But you know, the crowd on the grid, and there's so much going on the start of that Bathurst before the race actually starts. So, but co-drive, it's different. It's a different role, Wilbur. You have done it once, but it's a completely different role. You know, I think when you know that you've got to do the last 60-something laps, we're racing for position, and then we bail, and then it's time for them to finish the race. It's a little bit different feel. I don't know if it's nervous. I think it's more. You have more purpose of what your role is, because when you do that last 66 laps, it's still 1/3 of the race. You know, so much can play out. So just get the start done. Don't stall. Rule 101, don't stall. Don't kangaroo hop. Don't burn the clutch out.
For it.
Don't bend it.
Don't bend it.
Now, how many?
Bring it in a
how
good
many
spot.
How many you've done?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
never a straightforward start, is it?
No, 100%. Well, we're almost out of time.
Who's favourite? Who's going to?
Yeah, I was just going to ask
win
you
it?
the same. Who do you reckon the contenders are going to be?
Oh, you know, since the bend, I was at a kart race on the weekend, and everyone was going, "What was with that question in the press conference?" You know, when the Paul Glover asked about the press conference, like who's going to win?
In your opinion, who can win Bathurst?
Car 19.
Matty?
19.
Don't all say yourselves.
Well, what do you think's going to happen here, Glover?
Who's looking
What do you
good?
think's going to happen here, Glover?
So you're just asked the Paul Glover question.
I thought it was a great question. Like I said
Did
to
you?
him, so I
You don't need
repeated
to
it.
suck up to the PR
I
guy.
repeated him. I think he's amazing.
Well, who do you reckon is going to be in the top four in the end then?
Well, I think the elephant in the room, right? I mean, obviously, it's been pretty one-sided the last couple of years. Like Brodie talks about him being 45 seconds ahead last year with one arm out the window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know there's been a straight line deficit there the last couple of years. So we all want it to be
fair fight,
a fair fight.
Yeah.
And that's not me putting my Ford hat on.
No,
like
no.
that's not our opinion.
No.
Like that is the fact of the straight line numbers for top speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been hard in a Ford the last couple of years. I'm telling you, and I think it's better.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, Brodie, last two pole positions at that place. Him and George, they know what makes the car fire around there. So it's going to be interesting, and I just hope it's a fair fight. You can't deny, Brock and Brown, the speed they've shown around there the last couple of years. Cam, we know, is just an animal there. He'll be there. Chaz is an animal there. I mean, there's a lot of contenders, but it's been very one-sided the last few years. So I hope, the Blue Oval's in amongst it this year, and I hope I can throw my hat in the ring as well.
Yep. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I just hope it's a good race. I
Yeah.
think the last two races that we've had there have probably not been the finest as a spectacle. So I just hope we have a good race. I'm not going to. I don't think I'm going to answer who's going to win it. I just hope that we have the races that we had, 20, 21, 22, through that period where it seemed like every race came down to the last couple of stints, just going at it, hammer and tongs for the last 40, 50 laps, a couple of pit stops, the pressure was on the teams, executing all that stuff. I just hope we have a couple of those races, well, one of those races that we had during that period, because the last two have not been our finest at Bathurst.
Question for you. Your split roll, okay?
Yeah.
TV hat,
Yeah.
co-driver hat.
Yeah.
Matty Payne's leading. 10 laps to go.
Yeah.
20-second lead.
Yeah. No safety car, thank you. We'll bring it home.
So you co-driver hat. Okay, there we go. That's my question.
FCY, slow zone.
TV hat?
P3 to second.
Yeah,
wouldn't it
safety car. Give us a
wouldn't it
safety
be
car.
great for Penrite Racing to have their first Bathurst Enduro? So no safety car, bring the car home.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
There's a story there.
But that happened, like without the safety car, last year, you didn't actually see another car on track for a while.
No.
I remember racing for a whole stint, seeing one car.
Yeah.
So
And that's not great.
We need to bunch it.
That's not great.
Need to bunch it up though. But as the co-driver, like you want epic finishes, but you want it to be your car. But you always need that 10 to go, don't you? That's Bathurst. 10 to go, safety car comes out, and it's game on.
That's right. And then I'm happy. Listen, I'm happy to be. I mean, I don't want to be. I want to be at the front of the train. I'm happy to be fourth. And then the going rate of the racing at the moment is pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And the three of them can take each other out, and I'll Bradbury my way through.
You're gonna Bradbury at home, Wilbur?
You'll still get a 5-second Wilbur. You'll still get the 5 second for it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And still end up fourth with your
You'll
5
finish
seconds.
fourth with a 5-second penalty.
Over rev. Bit excited. What for now?
No, but I think you're right.
know.
I think the fans just want to see a good, honest race, and like, I think the good ones are like.
I don't think we're going to have a good, honest finish though anymore.
Why?
I just think that the standards and the aggression and what they've let go now, which I still understand what's racing protocol and what's allowed, but there's a lot of arguing over what is allowed and
By who?
By who's the arguing over?
Yes.
Well, there's
Which
certain
drivers?
drivers that like to drive exactly to how the book goes. And that's great because no single accident is exactly the same.
No.
So there's a point
Who's
where
that,
common
Wilbur?
sense has got to come in. No, I mean, I'll go with BK. And that's a compliment. He's an aggressive racer, but he's very analytical and he likes to study every word of the driving standards and play to the limit. It's maybe how Max Verstappen races as well, right?
True.
And when you might get inconsistent calls, he might call them inconsistent. I might just say it's racing, because it's hard to judge every incident exactly the same.
True.
My point being, I've been fearful all year. Some of the things they've penalised this year, some of they haven't. I'm like, okay, well, what they're letting go down to the last lap of Bathurst, are they going to finish nose to tail like Shane did on me or yourself and Garth?
Yeah.
I think that's
But
someone in the gravel trap.
I can't recall a Bathurst finish on the last 3 to 4 laps where someone's moved someone out of the way for the win. I can't recall that. There's certainly been 10 to go, 15 to go. It's on, but I certainly can't recall in those final laps or the final moment, the last lap, where someone's got into the rear bumper and bumped and run for the race win at Bathurst. Because I think the respect
That's right.
is
No, I
there
agree
for the
there.
moment.
Yep.
For the moment, I think the respect is there for the race and the respect is there for the moment that if you're going to get the job done, you're going to do it properly. And there's very few places at Bathurst to do it properly at the end of the race because of the racing line's very narrow with all the tyre debris and all the rest of it. So I hear what you're saying, Wilbur, about the interpretation of the racing rules.
I just think a little bit more nose to tail, maybe at the elbow, the last lap through the chase, where I think for many years everyone has given it everything. It's our biggest prize. I'm thinking of Davey Reynolds on Wing Cup in 2012. I mean, there's a lot of these exciting finishes, which there's nothing really you could do, nothing extra you could do to make that move without it being an incident.
Well, you look at
and it's
Lowndes.
on the outside, like have a go. Like you are tapped out, you can't do anything, right? Because you know it'll end in contact. But I think,
Lowndesy, we've never spoken
grey
about this,
area.
but when you were behind me in 11, did that cross your mind? It's like, I'm going to relocate this bloke. I'm just going to move him out of the way.
No,
Was that on your mind?
No, because if it was in that mindset, I probably would have done it under the tree because we had overlap. But you were
crash. Under the tree.
Oh, I know,
Holy smokes! Neither of us were finishing that one.
Well, that was the point. Like we had overlaps that come out of the cutting well, but then Garth was 3/4 in front, so that we were either going to go.
What happened? How'd you get a run on him there? Oh no, you were just quick over the hump.
We're better
Big
over the
rear.
hump.
Yeah.
We're better across the top of the mountain. And then the only other corner we had an opportunity, but it had oil down, was the chase. So there was no other opportunity. So, no, I don't think so. But then, of course, you were caught up, Garth, with Jamie trying to readdress Scotty McLaughlin. And it all just completely
but that was
fumbled.
that was still 10. That was still 10, 12, 15 to go. So I'm
That's
more
what your point.
right at the end when it's two cars going at it, where we've all been in that situation. I don't think the following car has that. I don't know that mindset's there. That look, I'm just going to bump and run.
I think that people say it after.
Yeah.
Oh,
we should have done it.
If it comes down to that, I think we will see it. But I think we'll see a controversial 5-second penalty. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
There we go.
I'm in amongst it.
There's a
this
news
year, guys.
story.
I tell
There's
you,
a news
it's-
story for the website next week.
It's just an opinion.
That's
I
the
don't know.
headline.
I've raced a lot of.
Just book your time slot in for Beardo there, Wilbur. You're seeing people at 5:05, so
Won't be
book
me.
him in.
I'm respectful.
Well, thank you, guys. I think that time has gone by, and the stories you have told, I think, as Wilbur said, you've got a lot more in your brain that you could let loose. But thank you for joining GT and Frosty down there.
We'll get that out of Will when he's finished full time, I reckon we'll get more out of
I'm
Wilbur.
going to implode.
He'll write a book.
You're doing Speak to Frosty about doing a book.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
All right. Thank you,
I don't know
guys.
who wants to read mine, but I'll tell everyone anyway.
I'll read it, Wilbur.
Yeah, I'll read it, Wilbur.
We'll see you
I want
guys.
to read your book, Frosty. I'm going to text you my address. I'm still waiting for the copy. I'll pay.
No worries, mate.
Oh, you're
No
going to
worries.
pay?
I'm happy to pay. I'm happy to pay.
What, cost or just...
Your cost. I'd like to think you'll give me a
Cost.
code.
Yeah, not retail.
Cost, yeah.
Not retail.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
That's good.
All right,
Thank you, boys.
guys.